Welcome to Beyond Investments with your host, Seth Leishman of Ostrofe Financial Consultants. Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Ostrofe Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Today's guest, Rick Fisher, is a financial advisor with Ostrofe Financial Consultants, National Planning member SIPC. And now, Beyond Investments, here's your host, Seth Leishman.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO, AM 830. Another week here in beautiful Nevada County. Seth Leishman and Rick Fisher from Ostrofe Financial.
Howdy.
A wet week.
Oh, and it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
I was listening to KCRA the other day, and I think Mark Finan said that as of yesterday, it'd been measurable rain in Sacramento 16 days in a row or something.
Wow,
and
yes.
that we're going to get a reprieve tomorrow, or maybe this was last week. Anyways, but
slight reprieve, but not much, really.
Yeah.
It picks right back up again.
Well, here, right now it's raining. It's going to rain, let's see, today, 90%. Well, it's already rained today.
Yeah, it's rained today.
On Wednesday.
All next
Wednesday.
week, yeah.
Tomorrow it's not supposed to.
Right.
But then we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday we're supposed to get some sun, then Wednesday. You get this far out, I don't know how accurate it is, but
right.
We can't complain too much. We do need it.
Yep.
And it is getting somewhat spread out. But I do feel for those who live in Southern California and Santa Cruz and Bay Area where they've had some really horrific, not quite as bad as 5 years ago, but still.
Right, but still rough. A lot of flooding, a lot of ocean damage, stuff like that.
A lot of PTSD. I know my brother-in-law lives in Carpinteria, and he was affected. It didn't destroy anything, but still it got really scary. And so he was on the high alert the other day. And fortunately, I called another cousin of mine who lives in Montecito. Oh, yeah. And they're not evacuating. I guess everybody is supposed to, but they're going to kind of wait it out. So we just keep all those people in our prayers. And and
that's tough.
Hopefully it fills up some of our reservoirs, get some good out of it.
Hopefully get some gas. Yes. Hopefully really fill up a lot of these reservoirs, places like, of course up here, all of our reservoirs with Scotts Flat and with all of the various reservoirs that feed water into our system, whether it be irrigation, but a lot of drinking water is fed by these reservoirs.
We still need to build more.
Oh, we really need to build more. I mean, my goodness, it's been 40, 50 years since we built a dam in this state, certainly. Yeah. And we certainly should have more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really need some more reservoir, more water storage.
Yes.
And I get it. There's plenty of belief. Hey, let this water flow down to the ocean. We're messing with ecological systems there. But if you're going to let it flow to the ocean, if we're not going to store this water for our use and for our need, then we better build a whole bunch of if it's going to flow down to the ocean, we better pull it back out of the ocean and desalinate it in order to have drinking water for all these millions of people in the state.
Well, I know Saudi Arabia uses desalination, so the technology does exist. I'm sure it's very expensive.
Right.
But we'll never run out of ocean water. No. That's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen. Yeah. If anything, they say the oceans are rising.
Right. So now there's
so we got more.
We need to use more water.
We need to use that ocean water.
Yep.
We need to use that. Well, let's Rick, let's dive in. You got some trivia? Let's dive in.
Okay, so starting with financial trivia, because this is a financial show, jasonswig.com, January 11th. So this recordings a couple of days. 1973, the Dow Jones Industrial Average peaks at a then record high, 1,051.
I was going to say about 1,000?
It will not close above that level again for almost a decade. 3,583 days to be exact, because that's right before the 74, 75.
Right, yes.
And then,
Yes.
Moving on, 1964. So listen to this. Okay. A 10-member scientific advisory panel reports to the U.S. Surgeon General that cigarette smoking is hazardous to human health. So I've known that since I was 2.
Yes.
At least my parents, who were lifelong smokers, unfortunately. They did not. I grew up in a household with smokers, and I am so sensitive to cigarette smoke now.
Yeah.
Anyways, the report finds that smoking, quote, contributes substantially to mortality for certain specific diseases and to the overall death rate, unquote, and is, quote, a health hazard of sufficient importance in the United States to warrant appropriate remedial action, unquote. More than 3 decades will pass, however, before the hot performance of tobacco stocks is snubbed out.
Right. Yep.
So that little warning really didn't help too much.
No, not really.
And that's why, people who die of, cigarette smoking, again, my parents being some of them where it contributed to their, there is sympathy, of course, but, they told you.
They told you. I've got questions when it comes to like cigarettes and smoking, right? And all those warnings. And we know, smoking cigarettes is obviously majorly harmful, in particular to your respiratory system.
Yep.
It's interesting to look at you're smoking what is still considered to be, it's still a plant. It's tobacco. And if you stripped out some of the things like nicotine and some of these things that are, that make it addictive, but if you just said, I smoked this plant, and then what we've now legalized in California and many other states, which is marijuana, the smoking of another plant.
Yes.
How is that not exactly basically the same thing?
I think they will say the narcotic effect of marijuana.
I'm talking about, like the burning of a plant and inhaling into your respiratory system, the burning of a plant. How is there not a difference in the damage that it provides to your respiratory system?
So the smoke part.
Yeah, the smoke part.
There probably is.
I mean, smoke is a carcinogen. The burning of a product and then it ingestion into your system, whether, however it's ingested, in this case through your respiratory system, how is that carcinogen not going to still cause cancer down the road? Yet we don't, there's this like societal shift to try to like not frown upon the smoking of marijuana, but to continue to frown upon the smoking of cigarettes. Both are just a plant, and
true.
Both are a carcinogen when they're burned.
Also, I think that part of it would have to do with the amount. I mean, my parents would smoke a pack or 2 packs a day.
Right.
And if a cigarette was a joint, you're smoking maybe 2-3 joints a day, and that's still a lot. You're staying stoned constantly, I would assume. Anyways, let's move on. Okay. 1807. So we're going back.
Oh, but we're going back a ways.
Ezra Cornell is born in Elijah to Elijah and Eunice Cornell in Westchester Landing, New York. He works in the family pottery business and then becomes a carpenter and a self-taught mechanical engineer. In 1843, Cornell meets Samuel Morse. While helping Morse lay the transmission lines for his new telegraph, Cornell makes the key discoveries that the wires should be insulated and strung above ground. In 1855, Cornell co-founds Western Union, the greatest growth stock of the 19th century, and in 1865, he founds Cornell University, of which my uncle was his alma mater.
Wow, okay.
I didn't know that.
No.
1757, so we're going backwards.
No, we're really going back.
Yeah, really. Alexander Hamilton, future U.S. Secretary of the Treasury and founder of the American financial system, is born in the Caribbean island of Nevis.
Okay.
Quote, okay, I don't know if I should say this online.
Yeah, maybe not.
Okay. Anyway, the illegitimate son of a Scottish peddler. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
In the words of his political nemesis, John Adams, let's see.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Of course. Yeah, John Adams. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Hamilton was indeed born out of wedlock, and thus his birth date is in some dispute. But the U.S. government accepts this day as his official day of birth.
Day of birth. Okay.
Happy birthday, Alexander Hamilton.
Yes.
Moving on to On This Day in Sports.
Okay.
1963. San Francisco Warriors center Wilt Chamberlain scores 67 points in a 134-129 defeat to the LA Lakers at the Cow Palace.
Which is
134 to 129.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been an exciting game.
That was an exciting game back then.
1973. So now most baseball fans know we have the DH in both leagues.
Of course.
Well, it didn't used to be the case.
No,
there used to be no DH. And then in this date in 1973, the American League adopted the designated hitter rule.
Okay, yeah.
1977, again, Cubs trade outfielder Rick Monday to the Dodgers for Bill Buckner. I just said that because it's the Dodger thing, and a lot of people remember Bill Buckner. So
no one remembers Bill Buckner.
Okay, well, people in Boston do. Anyways, 1989 Denver Nuggets rookie Jerome Lane misses 7 free throws in a game against Milwaukee. One missed by 2 feet.
Oh,
talk about airball.
2 feet.
Yeah, I guess the reason we've never heard of him, I don't know if he made it past his rookie year. But
yeah, no kidding.
Maybe he did. Maybe he was a good player.
I don't know.
Moving on to music.
Yes.
Now, I got a little. Remember I asked you your birthday?
Yes.
Well, there's a new little program that's attached to the This Day in Music website.
Oh, fun.
And so you type in your birth date, and we'll tell you what the number 1 song was.
Oh, very nice.
And it gave 4 different charts. I only collected the UK and the US chart.
Got it.
So for me, February 13th, 1962. In England, it was The Young Ones, which I've never heard.
Oh, okay.
By Cliff Richard and the Shadows.
Yes.
In the United States, it was Duke of Earl. You ever heard that song?
Never.
Duke of Earl. Anyways, sorry, folks.
Nope,
by Gene Chandler.
No,
Okay.
just kidding. Yeah.
For your birthday,
yes.
May 2nd, 1982.
82, yes.
In England, it was Ebony and Ivory with Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney.
Yep.
And here in the United States, it was Chariots of Fire, the theme song to the movie by Vangelis.
Oh, never even heard of that.
Yeah, you probably heard.
I probably heard
the theme song.
Yeah, probably.
But it was a musical. It was it was an instrumental. That's the way you say it. That's the way you say it.
Yes. Okay.
Moving
Very
on
nice.
to other music. This one I grabbed because I actually saw this performance and I was very disappointed. So 1992, Nirvana appeared on Saturday Night Live performing 2 songs, Smells Like Teen Spirit and Territorial, never mind, I can't say it.
Yep.
Which the first time I had ever heard them.
Yeah.
And I didn't like them. I thought, I don't know if it was just they weren't loud, but it was just that grunge. It sounded like noise. I like hard rock and I even like some heavy metal, but I just didn't like it. And my sister-in-law, she loved it. Once I heard the recording on the album, I liked it more. So I think it was just, they just didn't do a very good live performance. This date in 1985, a Brazilian rock festival held in Rio claimed to be the biggest ever staged. The festival featured Queen, Rod Stewart, AC/DC, Whitesnake, Yes, and Iron Maiden.
Ooh.
That's a pretty eclectic group.
That is. I mean, you combine Whitesnake and Rod Stewart. I mean, that's a pretty.
Yes, and you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
1967, the Jimi Hendrix Experience recorded "Purple Haze," their most famous song, at Delane Lea Studios in London. Hendrix later stated the Purple Haze was about a dream he had that he was walking under the sea. In concert, Hendrix sometimes substituted lyrics for comic effect. "Excuse me while I kiss the sky" was rendered "Excuse me while I kiss this guy."
Oh dear!
While gesturing towards drummer Mitch Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
So that's why people sometimes, people misinterpret what he's really saying.
Yeah.
And here's another one. 1964, the Kingsmen, Louie Louie. I'm sure everyone's heard Louie.
Of course.
Okay. By the Kingsmen went to #1 song in the U.S. Cashbox music chart. For a while, the record was banned by a handful of U.S. radio stations because of the indecipherable lyrics, which were rumored to contain some naughty words.
Ooh.
Even the FBI investigated the song, but finally concluded that they could not find anything wrong.
Oh, interesting. Okay. There you go.
And also in 1964, Ring of Fire, The Best of Johnny Cash, became the first #1 album when the Billboard debuted their country album chart. It was his 16th album in total and the first compilations album by Cash.
Yeah.
Moving on to, let's see, why do I have this? Oh, this is just general history.
Okay.
Amelia Earhart flies to Hawaii to California in So in her first flight of this kind, American aviatrix Amelia Earhart departs Wheeler Field in Honolulu, Hawaii, on a solo flight to North America. Hawaiian commercial interests offered a $10,000 reward to whoever completed the first flight. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money back then.
In the middle of the Depression.
Yeah.
The next day, after traveling 2,400 miles in 18 hours, She safely landed at Oakland Airport in Oakland. So flying for 18 hours with no relief, averaging 133 miles an hour, probably to save gas and get the maximum range.
Right.
Wow, that's just amazing. And then again, there's no place to go. If you don't make it.
Yeah, you're well, you're not up a creek.
You're in the ocean. You're in the ocean. On January 11th, 1927, Charlie Chaplin's $16 million estate is frozen by court receivers after his second wife, Lita Gray Chaplin, sues for divorce. Lita was a 16-year-old hopeful actress when the 35-year-old Chaplin married her in 1924. The bitter and prolonged divorce ended the 3-year marriage with a $1 million settlement. In today's dollars, his $16 million estate, $273 million today.
Holy
And her
cow.
$1 million payout,
Yeah.
$17 million.
Wow.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Dang.
That is it that's it for trivia.
Okay. We're going to come back and have some fun with some.
We're going to talk about, so since we have a new year.
Yes.
And we've talked about retirement planning in general.
We have.
But we're going to kind of focus in on if you're 50 or over. So you're in the final home stretch.
Yes, home stretch. Right.
What things should you be considering? What things should you do?
Yeah.
Because now if you're behind the 8 ball, you still have time, but you better get going. So we're going to have some statistics on income and some strategies on what you should be working on between now and retirement.
Yeah. And this might evolve into a couple different shows here, because we've got a lot of this is going to be a great topic to dive into. So we're going to be right back.
At least for me, since I'm 60 and it's closer for me than you're 10 years away before you have to worry about it.
Oh, but at least, yeah, no kidding. That's very true. Very true. I like not to rub in how young I am. Or
yes.
No. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO.
Today's guest, Rick Fisher, is a financial advisor with Ostrofe Financial Consultants, National Planning Member SIPC.
Welcome back. You're listening to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO, AM 830. Retirement planning. It's could be close, could be far away, but no matter what, everybody should be thinking about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Don't wait too long. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
As I always say, invest early, invest often.
Your options, the and the ability to react to life is really limited the longer you wait.
Right. Exactly.
You're just really limiting your flexibility, and the potential for life curveballs if you wait too long.
So in talking about, focusing on retirement for those, or planning for retirement for those 50 and over, I did some research on the internet, and from the Western and Southern Retirement Group, got some statistics that we can start with and then and see how that's relevant. So, first of all, let's say you're 50 years old, you're working towards retirement, but you don't know, we get this all the time, how much do I need for retirement?
Of course.
And they simplify this by at 50 years old, you should be planning on 10 times your annual salary. So if you make $50,000 a year, then you should have $500,000 minimum.
Yes, by age 50.
By age 50.
Okay.
And then age 60, when I'm right on the cusp here, and I think they say 8 times what's your salary. I'm a little bit below that, but I was above that before the bear market.
Yes.
So I've been pushed off a year or two, and that's 8 times.
Okay.
So just take whatever your annual salary is, multiply by 8, and that's what you should probably have at 50 or 60.
At least set aside by 50 to 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Assuming you're going to retire at age 65.
Okay. Got it. Very good. 65. Okay.
Obviously, you're going to work longer. Right now, the median for the average person is median income $58,000.
Okay.
So times 8, $460,000.
Right.
Okay. But the average right now of the average retirement account.
Yeah.
Now it's just an average. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
Between 55 and 65, what do you think it is? People
Well,
are supposed to have close to $500,000. What do you think the average person has?
I've looked at these stats, but it's been a long time. I would say it's pretty low if I remember right. 50 grand, 60 grand.
No, it's actually higher.
Higher than that?
Yeah, it's 197.
Okay.
But they're still, they got to double that.
You're less than half where you should be.
So there's that, the goal. There's the goal.
Yes.
Okay. And then we know that through we just talked about earlier today, the maximum that you can contribute has gone up again.
Yes.
So we're up to, if you're over 50, you can defer up to 30,000.
Yes.
And then what's the match if there is a match?
Depending on what, any match could be anywhere from 3 to 6%. It's usually a pretty common thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's almost $40,000 you could put in per year.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. That gets you a nice, that's 10 years of that, you could hit your $500,000 number.
Right. So you know what the goal is, and then other things that are when you're going to retire is when you're going to do it.
Yep.
And then there's Social Security.
Yes.
And then what are what is your family dynamic?
Yeah.
Are the kids still at home or are they gone? So that's gonna help your expenses. What debt has been paid off?
Yes.
It used to be that you have all your debt paid off, mortgages. Now we think depending on your mortgage rate.
That's right.
That there you credit card debt, all that stuff you want to try to get paid down to zero. But the mortgage debt, that just depends on your situation.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. It depends on the interest rate. It depends on your cash flow.
Yeah, it depends if you want to stay in that home or if you want to downsize.
Yeah.
So these are things you should start thinking about when you're 50, and you keep on kind of changing the numbers and seeing if you're on track. And things change.
Yes.
I mean, between 50 and 65. Expectations can change, markets can change.
Absolutely, they can. Yeah, major changes.
So when you're talking about Social Security, and again, I think you and I would say that if you're over 50, you should be logging on, should get your Social Security Administration log on, because they don't send you the statement anymore.
They don't.
Or they send it once every 5 years.
It's only every handful of years, only after age 50 or 55 or something like that. Yeah.
But it's got some pretty good information on it.
Yeah, it does.
They've changed the format since the last time I did this.
Very good.
So I just printed up mine, and it will give you a little bar chart based on your current income, and that you maintain that minimum over the next, for me it would be 5 years.
Yep, correct. What your Social Security will be.
Yeah, it will show at 62, 63 every year. So I can tell you what mine will be if I decide to retire at 65. If I wait 2 more years, I get an extra $500 a month.
Ooh.
So if I wait till 67, so I might stick around a little bit longer than you were expecting.
There you go. Or you'll wait to draw, or you'll just wait to draw.
Right.
There's always that option too, if you've got enough saved up.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's usually what it means. If you're going to wait to draw Social Security, you're going to end up using up other funds.
Exactly. But there's a lot of good information on there.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing you should look at is to make sure that the earnings that they show on the report are accurate, that they didn't miss something.
Yes.
So there'll be it will show a year, and then we'll show earnings tax for Social Security and earnings tax for Medicare, because they are different. Because they cap Social Security
correct
at a lower level than Medicare is not capped at all.
Medicare's not capped at all.
Okay.
Yep. You're taxed on Medicare. You pay Medicare tax on all of it.
So some people will have the number be the same.
Right.
But once you go over the Social Security limit, then they'll disclose both.
Correct. Very good. Wow, that is a bit of a format change. Definitely.
Yeah.
That was never the case before.
No.
That's new.
So knowing what your Social Security is going to be, or hopefully, because even, again, I'm 65 years from now, there could be changes. They could push Medicare back to 67. They could do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And
means test it more. That's going to be the biggest thing that they're most likely to do. Means test it, a fair amount more, usually through taxing it. Because that's the easiest way for the government to means test anything.
Yes.
Because voluntarily disclosing your assets is not a current requirement. Like, there's no form on your tax return that requires you to tell them how much money you have. Right. Or how much in assets you have or anything else. So
not yet, at least.
Not yet anyways. Means testing is more easily done by our government or accomplished by the mode of income taxing. So, that happened in 1993, which was the first time that Social Security became taxable, was in 1993. And as of right now, it's capped at a maximum of 85% of your Social Security could be taxed. And there's a very easy, there's a gap filler right there. Just bump it to 100.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen. That would be very shocking. In fact, actually, I would expect them to do that at some point in time. Is just to say, hey, if you've got an income of more than 50 or 60 or whatever X number of dollars a year, your Social Security is 100% taxable. That would not be unheard of, or something that would be really shocking.
And of course, obviously, with us in the bear market this past year and still in it, we get a lot of questions from our clients who are 50 or older. Say, is this going to put off retirement? What should I do? How should I invest it? Am I properly allocated? And the way to look at it, even at 50, even at 65. So let's say you retire at 65. For most people, you're probably going to be around at least 10 years, if not more. It could be 20 years. If
average life expectancy is 85 to 87, then you're talking 20, 22 years.
Right. So getting too conservative could be almost, more detrimental than not being conservative enough.
That's right.
Obviously, with markets down right now, if you're starting to draw income, you obviously want some of that covered or protected.
Yes.
And that's why, kind of the bucket approach, where anything you're going to need in the next 12 to 24 months, depending on your risk tolerance, you want to have cash or cash equivalents. And that might be the money you're drawing on. So let's say you're retired and I need $3,000 a month and I get another $3,000 from Social Security and my wife, whatever, okay?
Yep.
That should be in cash, especially maybe the first year or two.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're in a bear market right now, if you already have that, let everything else ride and let's get out of this. And then we start having the go-go years, then you can start taking gains and moving things to more conservative buckets.
Yes.
But to say that, I'm scared, I'm going to go all to cash, that may hurt you in the long run.
Okay, it definitely could hurt you in the long run. Absolutely it can. Because, you've got even at age 65, although you might be drawing current income, you've got 10, 15, 20 plus years that this money needs to last.
Right. So you got to look at your account, and obviously they're not going to be in separate buckets necessarily, but if you look at your portfolio or talk with your advisor and say, okay, this is your 20-year money.
Yes.
So even if your high-tech technology fund is down 30%, this money you're not going to touch, hopefully, for 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And
the question is, will it be higher in 15 to 20 years? Pretty rough to find. Well, we don't know the future. You can never know the future. However, you look backwards at history. There's never been even a 10-year period of time where it lost money.
Right.
It made money over any 10-plus year period of time. So, who knows what the future holds.
Time is on your side when it comes to your long-term money.
Exactly. I would agree with that. Absolutely. And adjusting portfolios based on that and making sure you've got cash on the sidelines for income is, in my opinion, I completely agree with you. It's a great thing to do.
And then how much money will you need? Well, they say that pre-retirement couples, they talked about couples, 70 to 90% of your current income. I think a lot of people think it's going to be a lot less or hope it's going to be a lot less.
Hope it's going to be a lot less, and it just doesn't turn out that way.
It doesn't, because your activities change.
Yeah.
So maybe you're doing, the money that you would be spending on kids, now you're spending on vacation.
That's right.
As you get older, those, out-of-pocket medical costs start adding up.
They do. Yes.
But your food might go down.
Home improvement stuff. You may have been in your home for the last 25 years, and now you've got to do a roof, and you've got to do the new deck, and you've got to do these things.
That's where we are right now.
Yes, there you go.
And my wife says, well, do we have to now? I say, it's better now than never. We're going to have to do it. And we got the money now, and I'm working now, so let's do it now.
Get them done.
Then, when we retire, we don't have to worry about that stuff. It'll be someone else's problem.
That's right. There you go. We got a lot more to cover about this. Definitely, I think next week we'll bring this back up, because we're running out of time here for our show this week here. So I think we definitely need to bring this back and dive in even deeper into some of these retirement planning ideas. We appreciate you listeners out there. And as always, you can go to our website at ostrofinancial.com to click on the news link there. And as always, if you'd like to learn more about what we do, give us a call at 273-4425 and come experience the difference when you think beyond investments.
Take care, folks.
Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Ostrofe Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.